Hey guys, welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit, Am I the A-hole? This one's from user Symphony of Music. Am I the a-hole for sleeping top naked in my bedroom? My 18 female mom and I live in a crummy apartment complex in New York City. Our apartment itself isn't crummy. We've taken a lot of pride in making the inside of our apartment look nicer than it really is, but truth be told, the building is crummy. So much so that the radiator in my room is broken and I get heat every day of the year, even in summer. I prefer not to open my windows during summer as well because all types of questionable creepy crawlies like to come through the window. So I usually sleep on top of the covers or without pants. Last night it was too hot, so I slept without a shirt or bra. I have pretty huge breasts, it's no secret. But I was in the comfort of my bedroom and I keep my door closed when I sleep. This morning I woke up to find my mom staring at me. She scares me crapless, especially because I have a loft bed and was making direct eye contact with her as soon as I opened my eyes. She stood there and screamed at me for 20 minutes telling me to put a shirt on and calling me a ruthless floozy for sleeping without a shirt while her boyfriend was here. I put a pillow in front of my body and closed my eyes to go back to sleep. This wasn't good enough, and she ripped the pillow from my arms and told me to put on some clothes before her boyfriend came in here and saw me like this. I told her I keep my door closed for a reason, and if she's worried about her boyfriend bothering me, that's more telling of her boyfriend, not me. She was absolutely seething and told me I'm to live under her rules while I'm in her house, and that includes not being trashy and sleeping with some clothes on. I figured she was being ridiculous, but her boyfriend heard the commotion and ended up coming into the room to get her, without knocking mind you, and left me flailing to find a sheet to cover with. He was kind of eyeing me and told me my mom was right and I need to sleep with clothes on. I'm having a hard time understanding. Am I really an a-hole here? The judgment is not the a-hole. Now let's take a look at the top comments. In Linwi says, not the a-hole. You have a reasonable expectation of privacy in your room. She and her boyfriend should stay out of it. If she's that worried about him being in your room, maybe the real issue is that she's dating someone she doesn't trust who might be a creep. Not Michelle says, not the a-hole. Neither your mother or her boyfriend have any business busting into your room without permission. End of story. A Flying Flip says, absolutely not the a-hole. What is she even doing coming into your room without making sure you're awake or at least aware of her presence? If you have a lock on your door, just lock it when you go to sleep. That way, she can't judge you, lol. Honestly, you're in the privacy of your bedroom and your mom should respect that. Even if it is her house, it's not like you're walking around the house topless. OP responds, she says it's her house so she can do whatever she wants. I'm not even allowed to have my door closed if I'm not sleeping. OP's edit, no, I can't lock my door. She won't allow me to replace the doorknob with one that comes with a lock. Additional edit, please stop effing messaging me asking me to see my breasts. People are asking me what mentioning the size of my breasts had to do with the post, and it was one of the arguments my mom made for me to wear a shirt. Yes, in hindsight it doesn't come into play, but I was annoyed when I wrote the post and rethinking the entire situation. For those calling this fake, saying I'd die under the conditions I'm describing and to just get window screens, that doesn't help when the heat outside is so thick and gross, it's just extra hot air. Not to mention unpredictable rainstorms that I have to constantly close the window for anyway. Additionally, I have a phobia of bugs and the screens don't seem to stop cockroaches and spiders. Thank you to everyone messaging me with helpful tips. It's hard to respond to everyone, but I see and appreciate your help. I'll be purchasing a doorstop soon, as well as find some time to discuss with my mom what her blow-up was about. We have a pretty decent relationship outside of this, which is why this shocked me and had me confused as to whether I was wrong or not. I totally agree with the judgment. I don't think you're the a-hole here, OP, but you should definitely find a way to stop people from coming into your room if they don't respect your privacy. And if you want to lock the door, you should also be able to do it. And the way you sleep in your bed in your room, it's your business and nobody else's. Finally, the boyfriend coming in without knocking? That's rude, weird, and kinda creepy, so I'd keep an eye on that dude. But of course, this is just my opinion. So now, let's move on to the update to see what happened to OP. Hi everyone, I wanted to give an update on the situation since a lot of people were really concerned for me. After the whole debacle, I did purchase a wedge for under my door from Walmart. It worked, and I didn't have any more issues with waking up to people in my face. I used the excuse that it was to keep our cat from opening my door at night, and my mom seemed fine with that. While E, mom's boyfriend, was here, and even after he was gone, my mom seemed detached and sort of out of it. I asked if everything was okay, and she said she needed to sort out some feelings first, but she promised we'd talk when she was better. I said okay, and left it at that. Couple days later, E came back for another weekend stay. The day after he came, they had an at-home date night with drinks and fancy takeout. And that night, I woke up to my door being messed with. I call out to see if it's my mom, and got no response. I pulled on a t-shirt and shorts and pulled the door wedge out to check, and E is standing at my door. He was drunk, and I was a bit panicked because I thought something had happened to my mom and he needed help. But he just stood there for a few seconds without saying anything. He didn't seem to be sleepwalking or in peril, so I said, "I'm uncomfortable, I'm closing my door." Before I could close the door all the way, my mom flew out of her room, saw him, and started cussing and screaming and telling him he needed to leave. They argued back and forth for a while, but eventually she got him out the door. After calming her down, I took her to her room and we had a talk. It turns out, the day she had come into my room, she had been on his phone and saw he was talking to his brother-in-law about me in very disgusting ways. Talking about how I was growing up to be very shapely and mature, and that he couldn't wait until I moved out so he could dump my mother for me. He said far more explicit things that were all extremely worrying, especially since we've known him since I was 11. My mom had come to tell me to be careful around him while she thought of a way to break it off safely. But when she saw my state, she had some misplaced anger. He's out of our lives now, thankfully. I want to say thanks to everyone for all the suggestions and recommendations, and even those who suggested my mom could be abusive. I plan to talk to her about the other ideas' behaviors soon. Sarcastic thanks and genuinely big FUs to those who sent me crude messages. I'm just glad the situation is over. OP, I would say that you're glad the situation is over, and you're also lucky that that guy is out of your apartment. He was drunk and in front of your room. Had he done anything, it would be a totally different story and completely regrettable. What's done is done, and your mom got him out of the house. However, she should have done that as soon as she read those messages. Maybe even report him and also ask for a restraining order or something like that to get him away from you. The good thing is that you're safe and your mom also by ending that relationship. Hopefully you guys are going to take steps to make sure he doesn't come into your lives anymore. Take care, OP. All the best. This one's from user Stolen Ideas. Would I be the a-hole if I sue my sister-in-law for stealing my book and making a huge profit from it? I, 24 female, write as a hobby, and I like sharing my short stories with my small following. I do want to publish one day, but I want to make it perfect first, since it's not edited yet. The unfinished book we're talking about came from an idea that I started to build when I was in middle school. I just finished it last year, but because of the health crisis, I was forced to put that project aside to ensure steady employment with my day job. My brother and sister-in-law came to visit me to introduce their baby daughter about 6 months ago. Sister-in-law just thrusted her baby into my arms even though I lack even the barest knowledge of how to hold a baby. The baby was fuzzy and my brother helped her calm down while sister-in-law said she wanted to use the bathroom to pump breast milk. They left later and I didn't think anything of it until recently that I was told sister-in-law had published a book. And it had been a while since she published. Self-publish is not as time-consuming as traditional publishing. I don't doubt my sister-in-law's intelligence because she is a smart woman, but I've always heard how she dislikes books because they're boring and drags on. I wanted to show my support and bought a copy, only to realize it's way too similar to mine. I compared it to my copy of unpublished work. It's obvious it's been edited and proofread for fluidity and clarity. I was angry, and I admit I overreacted by confronting her over the phone. She said my screaming was upsetting her and hung up on me. It was a back and forth battle with phone numbers to get to the truth. By this time, my parents and her parents are involved. Then the truth boiled over, probably from stress and being caught, since I do have my copy and detailed notes of my progress in world building and in-depth characters for second book. She said that my brother and her needed the money because they have a child and the lockdown threatens their work. She said she will give me 75% of the continuous royalty to settle it. I said no, and told her to give me the pseudonym she put the book under and take the amount she paid for editing and proofreading the book and the marketing ads. She said I'm taking away her daughter's college funds. She just lost her job and her unemployment check hasn't come yet. My brother is the sole supporter. I threatened to sue, and everyone is furious with me. I believe I will proceed with the lawsuit. Sorry for the grammar, I'm writing with anger. Would I be the a-hole? The judgment is not the a-hole. Now let's take a look at the top comments. Oh damn it, Reddit says, not the a-hole. If the family are siding with her, they are the problem. She is a thief who stole from you. Not only is she not sorry, she is trying to manipulate you and others to agree to her terms. It is imperative that you deal with this immediately by seeing a lawyer. You need to get her to sign over the copyright to you, royalties, and admission of guilt. If she refuses to your terms, then you go to court. She is a nasty piece of work who is going to keep causing problems for you no matter what. Even if you agree to her terms, it won't stop her from causing future problems for you. I guarantee it. She has shown you what she is. Believe her. But show her the law applies to her and she is accountable for her theft. The audacity is shocking. Please see a lawyer immediately. Good luck. VaultyGirl7 says, not the a-hole. Stealing her daughter's college fund? Excuse me? I believe that the daughter would appreciate the money more if it actually came from her mother's hard work and not from stealing from her aunt. If she's complaining about not having money, she can write her own dang book. Stealing from family is never the answer. And the gall of going into someone else's house, forcing them to watch your child and stealing from them and then slightly change their book? She not only stole your first chance to publish a book, but she stole the dream from your childhood too. I'm sorry, OP. Sue this sister-in-law. Doc Sternow says, not the a-hole. Go with the lawsuit. This is plain and simple theft, and one of the worst kinds. She stole your creativity, your ideas, your work, and no, letting her have it and getting 75% of the royalty won't do crap. You're an aspiring writer. The book has to be connected to your name because that's your credibility as an author. If she robbed a bank, no one would even get near the idea that the bank managers would be a-holes when they press charges and take away their kid's college fund. Your sister-in-law is a horrible person. OP's edit. Unnecessary edit because there are just too many ugly messages. To those who think this is fake because of incoherency, grammar, and structure, it's why editors and proofreaders exist. They're hired to fix the manuscript before publishing. I didn't proofread this, and that's my fault. I'd like to write, but I'm not a professional writer. English is my second language. To those who think it's impossible to make lots of profit from a one-time self-published book with an unheard-of author, Sister-in-Law has a decent following. When her followers buy the book, it climbs Amazon ranking, and that means it's more visible to other buyers interested in the same genre. I came here not for legal advice at first because I was struggling morally. I needed help, not to have people attack me in private messages and in the comments. To those who only commented that this is fake or how I can't be a writer who failed at basic writing skills, if you do not have anything useful to say, please kindly keep your irrelevancy to yourself. Wow, OP, I have to say, I loved that last line. If you have nothing useful to say, keep your irrelevancy to yourself. I love it. I'm stealing that one. I'm keeping it. You're not gonna sue me for royalties, right? Anyway, joking aside, you're not the a-hole and you should definitely sue your sister-in-law. You're not taking away their kid's college fund. What a crappy attempt at manipulating you. She stole from you. She took your story, everything you did with it. She just adjusted it a little bit, had it edited, and then published it, started making money, and now got caught. She needs to pay for what she did to you. Sue her for 100% rights of everything. Just pay her back whatever money she invested in it, and that's that. But of course, that's just my opinion. So how about we move on with the update to see what OP ended up doing? Thank you everyone for giving me advice on how to proceed with this mess. After speaking with my pre-law friend, I decided to go the legal route. I reiterated my compromise with sister-in-law and my brother, but he has fully taken her side. My parents warned me that I'd be disowned and I'd be dead to them if I'm willing to stoop this low. I hired a lawyer and gave all the details on my side. My lawyer said she needs my unedited manuscript for the book and my sister-in-law's published book along with the copy sister-in-law sent to have it proofread and edited. Because the published book has different parts changed, my lawyer needs the unedited version which sister-in-law should still have in the transaction she did with her editor and proofreader. We took the risk to ask sister-in-law for the unedited copy she sent to her editor and proofreader. Despite the chance of having her feign, I don't remember their names, I don't have their contacts anymore, I don't want to, etc. I told sister-in-law that we will go through the route of having to use third-party notarization to ensure no foul play on either part. Have one individual look at my unedited manuscript and the one she sent to her hired editor plus proofreader. Once I told her that, she must have realized I was not bluffing. Sister-in-law and my brother accepted the compromise. I take the pseudonym, the royalties, with evidence of sold copies. I stipulated that sister-in-law must put a message out to her followers on her blog that she stole from me and not a single word in the book is hers. I thank the Redditors for suggesting that. She is clearly pissed off and disgusted with me for doing this to my own family. I threatened her with further legal proceedings if she does not do it. No lawsuit happened, but I'm glad I got a professional option just in case. As words got back to my parents of what I did and how dare I get a lawyer to punish sister-in-law because her blog followers will surely lose trust in her and future revenue. I told them and my parents that if they have anything to say, use my business email. I'm done with them. They treated an outsider, sister-in-law, 1 month into dating my brother, better than they ever did to me. I don't need that negativity dragging me down. I'm happier, more free with my opinions. And I don't have to feel the need to compete with everything sister-in-law does just to get my parents to love me a little more than a daughter in name. I have my friends. They've always been more of a family unit to me than my biological ones. I knew I was going to lose something coming out of this, but I didn't expect I'd be okay with the disappointment and hurt. Thank you everyone, and no, I will not be telling anyone what the name of the book is because I only came here to get a moral judgment and update everyone on what happened. Please don't think I'm using this for clout. The book will not be promoted on Reddit. Not then, not now, and not in the future either. Little update on the apology. It's not out. She said she needed more time to prepare her emotional state and she's overworked with their child, but she'll let me know when I can have the apology. Well, OP, good for you for getting rid of the dead weight. In my opinion, your parents suck, and I'm pretty sure I don't need to explain why I think that. Also, that sister-in-law of yours saying that she's angry and disgusted with you for doing this to your own family, she did this first to family. She stole from you. This is her own doing. She doesn't get to try to switch things around and try to play victim here. She's an a-hole. I'm sorry, I'm getting upset all over again. But I'm not gonna rant anymore. Everything is good. OP's happy. She's getting everything she needs and she's getting rid of those people. Good for you, OP. All the best. This one's from user SweetBabyZ2020. Am I the a-hole for not forgiving my husband, 26 male, for a mistake and not trusting him with our child? I, 24 female, gave birth to my daughter 6 months ago and it should have been the happiest moment in my life. When my daughter was born, her skin was very dark and looked like she could have two biological parents who were of African descent. My husband Jim, 26 male, fake name, was furious and accused me of cheating and left right then and there. He told everyone on both sides of the family what happened, made posts on social media, and wanted a divorce. His family and a lot of our friends all called to say how upset they were at me and called me really nasty names. My mother was by my side the entire time and I kept professing my innocence. Jim refused to pick me up from the hospital, threw my stuff out on the lawn and changed the locks, so I had to stay with my parents. When my sister called to ask for the baby stuff, Jim texted me pictures of the bare nursery room and said he got rid of everything. He even destroyed my art studio, I like to paint, and the art I made and told me my work would be too awful to sell. I was distraught and tried to focus on my baby. Weeks went by and Jim refused to speak to me directly and has never once asked about our child. Eventually, he agreed to do a paternity test and he was 100% the father. No one could believe the results and it was done again. Jim's the dad. Around that same time, one of Jim's cousins did the ancestry thing and there was around 30% of African ancestry in the family. This, combined with the test, made Jim's paternal great-grandmother admit to having an affair around the time Jim's grandfather was born, and was because he could pass, she just assumed her husband was the father. Since then, Jim has been reaching out and everyone has come to apologize, and while it did feel good to feel vindicated, the damage has been done. I can't unhear or unsee all the horrible things that was said and done. Not just to me, but to my child as well. Jim made some very racist remarks, things that I thought he'd never say, and he did it so easily. Regardless of what our daughter looks like, I don't want her to be around that. What else will Jim and his family say or do the next time they get mad? How are they going to treat our daughter when she does something that upsets them? Jim has been begging for forgiveness. I said I needed time. He asked to see the baby and I let him, but I'm too afraid to physically hand her to him. He's repairing the nursery and keeps asking me what I would like, and I cry every time saying we already had what I liked and some of the items that we had can't be replaced. He asked me if I still loved him and I admitted that he showed me his worst self and I don't know if I could live with that image. I didn't mean to be hurtful, but it's how I feel. My sister suggested couples therapy, but I don't feel like I should have to work to fix something that I didn't break. I've never cheated and have been 100% innocent in all of this the whole time. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to give Jim a second chance? The judgment is not the a-hole. Now let's take a look at the top comments. And an update from OP. Rose Scarlet says, not the a-hole. When people show you their true colors, believe them. Regardless of who was right or wrong, he handled the situation horribly. If he really loved you, or was a good person, he would have just asked for a paternity test from the beginning. Instead, he destroyed your things, etc. This makes it very clear how he and his family will react to situations. I'd stay away and not forgive him. Good luck. And Boombottom says, not the a-hole. Get a divorce lawyer and speak with a domestic violence counselor. Trashing your crap is domestic abuse, no matter how good a reason Jim thought he had. Don't go to couples therapy unless the lawyer says it will help in maximizing your custody of the baby. And now the updates. 1. All of this initially happened at the near February and I was already settled at my parents' house before the lockdown hit. 2. One of the reasons Jim wouldn't pick me up from the hospital was because I wouldn't admit to cheating or give him any details, because there weren't any which made him angrier. 3. Based on the pictures Jim sent me, he didn't take a sledgehammer to the crib or anything. He just took stuff down to either return it for the money or give it away. While deeply hurtful, I wouldn't call it violent, but maybe it is. 4. Online he announced that I pushed out a dark-skinned baby and was going to divorce me. His family started with the racial comments and eventually he started doing it too, only through my family. He refused to speak to me directly. 5. Once the truth came out, everything he and his family posted was all taken down, but I and a few friends still have the screenshots. Jim never wrote down his racial remarks. 6. While he didn't say any of the racist words, he did make comments about our daughter being a welfare princess and how I was going to just be another baby mama. And 7. Just to clarify, Jim is white and I am at least half white. One of my parents is adopted, and with everything that's happened, they decided to do the ancestry thing too, and we should be getting the results any day now. And that's it for this video. If you'd like, here are other videos from my channel that you would enjoy. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.